every masjid in America has to have a waqf for a couple reasons. One is because you can make an argument that one of the most, if not the most important pillar of Islamic civilization for over 1,000 years was the waqf. You could probably say the masjid and the waqf, but it's not even possible to separate those two things because the masajid were run by, according to waqf. Of course, waqf translated as an endowment or a charitable endowment. You own an underlying asset such as real estate. You collect rents or some sort of income from that underlying asset. You split the money that's made by the asset and you put some back into the asset to maintain it. And then you dedicate the rest to a charitable project. Could be an Imam salary, could be students of knowledge, a dormitory, could be, orphans, fountains, roads, could be anything. And that was how Islamic civilization was able to have a good quality of life, a superior quality of life to Europe without taxes. I mean, there were taxes, but the taxes were usually like to fight wars. They weren't like, there was no such thing as the income tax. So people out of their own generosity setting up these endowments that would take care of things for the community. And it just made everybody's life better. Like if you want to be able to, like, hearing running water, seeing the wind in the leaves of trees, like that, like, has psychological benefits. It takes the stress out of people. There's actually research that shows that, like, there's a correlation between the amount of trees on a city block and, like, even the crime rates, right? So we're talking about trying to improve life for everybody. But who's gonna fund it? If you take a passive attitude and you just hang back and, wait for the government or wait for it's just not going to get done, and you're not going to have control over it. But if you take initiative and do it yourselves within the community, it's going to be sustainable. It's going to be thriving. You're going to have control over it. And you can have a hand in shaping what it looks like. So, it's just masjids. Listen, I mean, we've run the numbers at Yaqeen Institute. Over half the mosques in America don't have a full-time imam. Average tenure of an imam in a mosque is 2 years or less. So why is that the case? Part of it is because they're poorly compensated, at least compared to their peers of other religions. Imams are not compensated nearly as well. Our institutions are underfunded. That goes for our Islamic schools as well. We spend so much time fundraising that prevents what we could otherwise do. We could be building gyms. We could be doing more dawah. We could be having different committees that focus on other stuff, but we have to fundraise because we don't have any other way to get money or to generate money. And so if you're always occupied with just keeping the lights on, it's like hierarchy of needs. You're not going to be able to have a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan to look ahead, to make strategic moves. And this happens in every community where some piece of real estate comes up for sale and it's so strategic to the community, like it's across the street or it's next door or behind or whatever, and you don't have the liquid to be able to get it because every penny that you scrape is going towards keeping the lights on. Right. It's just not a good model. And then people get tired of the fundraising. Right. Like, so then you get diminishing returns on that. They want to know that their money is having an impact. And it's hard to show impact when it's just for the same operational expenses that are never going to end. It's much easier if you go to the community, that when you go to the community, you're able to be like, hey, it's like we're raising money for this gym, or we're going to, for the blacktop or for a basketball court or whatever. Now the people are invested in that because they see every time they pass by that basketball court, they're going to know that they contributed to that. So that's a lot more psychologically rewarding than just, again, like paying the bills and that never end. So, this is really the way forward, that if we want to be able to unlock the potential of the community and have our institutions functioning, let alone excelling, then we need to change the funding model. The funding model has to be more sustainable. We need to free up and bring relief to the people. Times are hard. Inflation's hard. Cost of living is through the roof, right? We're a currency collapse away from not being able to fundraise very well. Right? You need to also protect yourself in that way. So for those reasons and more, I mean, the waqf is absolutely essential. And the masajid, the mosques that have figured out how to do it need to then go on tour and teach the other mosques how to do it too. I was actually just in Long Island last weekend, and there was a mosque, and they wanted to do it, and they were asking for models. So one of the brothers stood up, and he knew of another mosque down the street that they've done it, and they've done it successfully. Actually, he told the story of a mosque in Massachusetts that doesn't even do fundraisers for themselves anymore. They do fundraisers for other mosques, because they don't need any fundraising for their operational expenses. They've got their Waqf on lock. So that type of sharing and that next level infrastructure, I think, is the next level for development and evolution of the Muslim community in America, getting out of the silo and building the umbrella, right? It's like, how are we going to connect all these mosques? How are we going to connect all these community centers, connect all these Islamic schools? We really don't have that level of coordination yet. But we need to get there. And the quicker we get there, I think the quicker we're going to see better outcomes with our youth, with keeping people in Islam, with educating, quality education on Islam, and just an overall positive experience in the mosque.